Blessings to all of you. It's your brother David Williams with Jesus Ministries. Okay, so there are people that are not as mindful of the consequences of their actions as others. So there are people that are not as mindful of the consequences of their actions as others. So, when the enemy wants to bring death and destruction, as I sit here and talk to you and look across the street, fine, well, let's not talk about the pentagram across the street. Let's talk about fools first. So as the enemy manipulates man, let's go back to the Garden of Eden where Satan decided to communicate with Eve first and got Eve to influence Adam. Because Adam was not likely to listen to the serpent as was Eve. So even though they both had dominion, and even though they both were very good, they were different. They were different. And so Satan manipulated the woman, and the woman, she influenced the man. In our society, there are people that are not as mindful of the things that are going to happen once they do what they do. And because they're not mindful of their decisions and their effects, they do things that cause them and others pain. But before that pain comes, before the consequence comes, because generally there's a delay because of God's mercy. So people are in the image of God, and because of that, people are influential. Because people are made in the image of God, we have influence. We have influence. So, those who get drunk, those who abuse drugs, those who just do different kinds of naturally dangerous things, naturally bad things. People who do naturally bad things. Not that most of us don't do naturally bad things. You know, there are different degrees of bad based on the consequence. So bad is bad, good is good, but bad is essentially gauged by the degree to which it'll separate you from God, by the degree to which God will afflict you for doing what you're doing. So that's how we say, well, one sin is bigger than the next. Sin is sin, all unrighteousness is sin, and all of it is bad. But then you've got things like, the Lord said, well, this right here, he won't forgive you for. That right there will bring about this kind of consequence. So there's that. God is merciful, so he does not wipe man out every time man does something that man shouldn't do. And even when man is suffering from the curse of his actions, in our fallen wisdom, we justify or laugh at the consequences of our messed up decisions. So, those who do things like, let's just use a social example, which is also spiritual, but those who, the drug abuse, and the alcohol abuse, and all other kinds of things. Right? So we know that stuff damages your thinking. We know it damages your mind, it damages your thinking. And we have people that dedicate themselves to that kind of pleasure, that kind of vanity. There are people who give themselves to substance abuse. That may cause them to act a certain way. It may cause them to act a certain way. People who don't do that and would not expose themselves to that level of depravity, that level of corruption, they're not looking at the wine bottle or at the syringe or at the spoon or however the drugs are done. They're looking at the person who's made in the image of God. So the fool, that's the person that's more ignorant of his environment. He's more unwilling to calculate the consequences of his behavior. And then you have the person who is given more wisdom than that person. And we're still talking about just natural life. We're not talking about believers, unbelievers. We're talking about people. So in this world full of people, you have certain people who will do certain things that are more destructive to themselves and their environment. And then you have those who are more reserved, more conservative, more calculating. They're more naturally wise. They're naturally wiser. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I do think it's funny. I do find it does tickle me. It is somewhat oddly pleasurable to watch this fool behave very confidently. And he looks free. He looks happy. He looks like he's really enjoying what's going on. But he's drunk. And he's been drinking or doing something bad that alters his mind. And that's what he's doing. And you're watching him. And you're impressed with him. And you have a better reputation than he does. But you're somewhat impressed at his glory, at his ignorance. Like, man, he's the life of the party. Man, he says things that people don't normally say. Yeah, because he's subjected, he's subdued. The enemy has gotten to him to that extent. And the enemy could not manipulate you that way, but he's manipulating you through your attentiveness to this person who's made in the image of God, but is abusing the image of God. So you're impressed with him. And then there are people who are not impressed with fools. Like, man, I'm not going to watch that guy. That guy's this way. But I'll watch you because you're wiser than a lot of people. And so they'll watch you. They'll watch you as you're watching the fool, as the fool is watching Satan incarnate. And that's how the devil destroys people. So he got to Eve because Eve was willing to listen and to respond submissively to this serpent's advice. She was given dominion over the serpent. So he was not there to advise her. But she submitted to that. And Adam and the woman, their relationship did not include dominion. She was there to help him. But they were one. And so she wasn't there to advise him to do something that he had already been given instruction about from his sovereign, from God. So God told him about what things are. He was not to decide for himself. He was to listen to God and to unite with his wife, and they were supposed to converse and enjoy the dominion that God had given them. But he looked at her as she was looking at him. He looked at her as she was looking at the serpent. So he probably would not have responded to the serpent that way. Paul makes that clear. Oh, he wouldn't have been deceived by the serpent. So the serpent couldn't get to him, so he got to her, and she got to him. So in our society, so you got people in church. So now you got church people. People who profess to know the truth. Or they would not go out and do drugs because they know that that's sinful. So then those who do go out and do drugs, they impress the people that are not church goers, that are not faithful in the Lord, but that they may have a good reputation, or they may have a better reputation than the crazy people out here. Because you have two kinds, you've got like different kinds of crazy people. Some are just outright blatantly crazy, and some are just like calm with their craziness. Like, oh no, I can still go to work and still function, but I do like to do crazy things when I get the opportunity, which is not often. Fine. And they're associating, so that guy is a crazy person, and this person is just watching that crazy person. Neither of them love the Lord or go to church. And then you have those in church who love the world. What do you mean they love the world? They love the people who do bad things. They love the people who do bad. Oh, that guy does bad things. And I'm in church. I'm a minister. I'm a musician. I'm a influential person. I'm here. I go to church. And I watch that guy. And that guy does not go to church. But I respect him. I respect his knowledge. I respect his wit. I respect his confidence. I respect him. And that guy that I respect, he respects that fool right there. And that fool loves Satan. Satan got to the foolish guy who doesn't care about the pain that he's about to experience forever. And then that guy got to the professor / entertainer / politician / whomever who doesn't go to church but will smile and shake hands with the best of them. Oh, no, life is this, life is that. Fine, whatever this guy's saying. And then you have the bottom of the church barrel. David, that's disrespectful. Like, that's crazy that you should even say that. Jesus described these kinds of people. That's in the Bible, brothers and sisters. Not everybody in church are along the same lines of dedication. Don't think that in your mind. Yeah, those are the least in the kingdom. Not in a good way. Like, no, those are the people who, they love the world. They're half in, half out. They're in, but they're not in. They like them, and those guys who they like those guys over there. And those guys love the devil. So the devil controls Aerosmith or whomever, or Young Jeezy or whomever, and Jeezy impresses this guy right here, who's your grandfather. Your grandfather has a business. He's kind of respectable, doesn't love the Lord. And you respect your grandfather, though he doesn't love the Lord and doesn't go to church. And you're in church, though, but you respect your godless grandfather who's got some good things going on. Your grandfather likes Aerosmith or Young Jeezy or Maxwell or whomever, Aretha Franklin. And those people are controlled by Satan. And so now in church, you've got the people who are compromising because they like these people in the world who like those people in the world. And then the people that are more godly, I would never submit to garbage that would come from Aerosmith or Young Jeezy or whomever or Bob Marley. No, I would not. But I'll listen to my brother in the Lord who's lukewarm. I'll listen to him. Yeah, but your brother in the Lord likes her, who likes him, who likes the devil. And that's how the thing topples. So that's why you got news anchor people doing the Harlem Shake. Yeah, let's do the Harlem Shake. That's why you've got politicians saying, my bad. Like, how did you get a wealthy politician to say, my bad? Because the chain of command is being followed. These people are ignorant, but they're confident. And confidence looks good because it's God. It represents the strength of God. Yep, that guy is wicked, but he's confident. So I like his confidence. And I like what he's saying. Yep. 2 Peter chapter 2. 2 Peter 2. That's how the enemy is doing it. I can't get them, but I can get them. I can't get that guy to fornicate, but I can get him to consent to fornication, to supporting fornication. Yeah, I can make him lukewarm. I can separate him from the glory of God because he likes worldly people who like the devil. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what he's doing to most of the brothers and the sisters. That's why the way to hell is broad and the path is, and the gate is wide. Because people are being manipulated by people who are being manipulated by people who are being deceived by the enemy. The fools have to go first. The fools go first. Once the fools go first, then the others will follow. The guys who don't fashion themselves fools. Like, I'm not a fool. I'm a smart person. The fools go first. And then the next people go next. And then the next people go next. Until somebody says, I don't follow people. I follow Jesus. So I'm not going to do it because you do it. I'm not going to like you because you do it. I don't care about how confident you seem. You're in error. Jesus is Lord. He's coming back to judge the righteous and the wicked. You guys gotta repent. There's a class of people who are going to walk in righteousness and not going to disobey. And they're going to love God, and God's going to unite them. So I'm not going to say, oh, I don't go to church, because the church is in you. Like, the people are the church. So I don't submit to accountability. I'm not going to say that, because that's the song of fools. It's better to hear the words of the wise are heard more in secret than the song of fools. Or however that's said in Ecclesiastes. Like, no, I'm not going to say that. That's what the fools say. And I know why they say it. It's because they love the devil. And you're repeating it because you are impressed with the ignorant. I'm not going to say that. If I keep my mind on Jesus. If I set my mind on you, then I'll be a fool. Like, yeah, see? You took your eyes off the Lord, Brother Dave. Why'd you? But no. It doesn't work that way. So, brothers, let's be holy. Because the Lord our God is holy. Be holy in all manner of conversation. The church is a living, breathing, active, conquering, dominion-having kingdom. And those who don't understand that, they are already subverted. They're already subverted. They're subverted. And you're gonna find, and if you don't think that, oh man, they're not subverted, it's because you're subverted. I know you don't believe what I'm saying because you're subverted. People are subverted, man. I love everybody though. We'll talk.